Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gordon Frayne, and today we're doing a deep dive into KASPA Crypto. As always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below, hit that subscribe button as well, and if you want to get notified about similar future videos, smash that bell notification icon so you can get updated every time we drop a new video. And don't forget to grab your free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. It's going to be linked in the description below. Grab yourself a free PDF copy. It is my gift to you, so grab it while it's free. Okay, KASPA is a crypto that has been performing exceptionally well throughout 2024 thus far. And if I am not mistaken, I think it is the second best performing crypto asset of 2024 thus far. It's getting a lot of hype as a layer 1 blockchain solution, and we're going to be jumping into a number of the different aspects about KASPA in this video. Honestly, the more and more I research KASPA, the more interesting I find it, and I do think it is an underrated blockchain layer 1 solution right now. Again, nothing in this video is financial advice, and always do your own research, but we will be going through a few different aspects of KASPA in this video. We're going to be talking about proof of work and its block DAG structure. We're going to be looking at KASPA as a solution to the blockchain Trilemma. We're going to be looking at KASPA Emission Schedule and how that compares to Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at KASPA and the power law. We're going to be looking at KASPA's 8-month harmonic cycle and the introduction of KRC20 tokens just very recently at the end of June. So lots of stuff to power through in this video, but let's dive straight in. So as we mentioned, KASPA is a layer 1 blockchain solution. It also uses a proof of work consensus mechanism. So Bitcoin, the OG of all cryptos, uses a proof of work consensus mechanism. And if you're not familiar with what that means, it basically means that miners on the network need to expend vast amounts of computational power in order to solve the block puzzle associated with blocks on the blockchain in order to add them to the chain, get consensus in a distributed fashion, and then get rewarded as a result of successfully mining that block. So KASPA also employs a proof of work consensus mechanism. It does it slightly differently because Bitcoin operates in a blockchain structure where the blocks are added together in a sequential order, block after block, hence the name blockchain. But KASPA uses a block DAG structure, so it is more of a decentralized acyclic graph, so that it is slightly different in structure to Bitcoin. And if you're familiar with this channel and other videos we've done on the likes of HBAR also uses a DAG or block DAG structure as well. So KASPA is somewhat similar to Bitcoin, and with the future introduction of the KRC20 tokens, it has, some similar resemblances to Ethereum. And the easiest way that I can describe KASPA based on my research thus far is kind of like a hybrid between Bitcoin and Ethereum and the capabilities that it has. So given its layer 1 structure and proof of work consensus mechanism, it is very similar to Bitcoin. And now with the introduction of the KRC20 tokens, it's trying to facilitate a lot of the functionality that Ethereum also has with smart contracts and the ability to do stuff in a decentralized app kind of fashion. So again, a blockchain is a linear system, but a block DAG, and the block DAG used by KASPA can reference multiple predecessors instead of a single predecessor, and at an average rate of 1 block every second. So again, this kind of leads us on to the differences between Bitcoin and KASPA and how the blockchain structure differs from the directed acyclic graph structure that we spoke about just now. And again, if you're familiar with the blockchain Trilemma, it's basically this trilemma that Bitcoin and other layer 1 blockchains try to solve. So again, the idea, at least, is that the blockchain trilemma is mapped out in terms of decentralization, scalability, and security. And again, Bitcoin basically is trying to solve 2 of 3 of these problems. And, the idea up until now, at least, is that it's not actually possible to fully solve all three aspects of the blockchain trilemma, because Bitcoin, for example, is extremely decentralized and extremely secure given its proof of work consensus mechanism. But there is a trade-off when it comes to scalability because of the fact that, we only have one block mined every 12 minutes or so. And, the idea is that we cannot have a blockchain solution that ultimately solves all three of these components without there being some kind of trade-off. However, KASPA does claim, at least, to be solving the blockchain trilemma of decentralization, scalability, and security, and is putting forth a decent argument to how it is solving this trilemma across all three vectors in a very robust way. So how is it solving the blockchain trilemma? Well, during my research, I was reading about this, and basically the simplest solution is the simplest way that it is put is in this article that I found on Medium, and basically it's explaining how KASPA overcomes the blockchain trilemma with a number of the things put forth in this few paragraphs. So fastest confirmations, traditional cryptos have a slow block rate, thereby slow confirmations. Since KASPA's consensus layer enables fast and immediate confirmations, KASPA transactions are more rapid, and this makes KASPA ideal for applications that demand quick proof of publication. So the high throughput, also with conventional cryptocurrencies, they suffer low transaction throughput due to slow block rates. With the GoStag protocol, KASPA's consensus layer enhances high throughput by increasing block rate and block size. Besides, KASPA optimizes bandwidth, cost, and network infrastructure for optimal throughput. And then also through mining decentralization, existing cryptos have slow block rates, paving the way for uneven distribution of mining profitability. In simple words, irregular mining rewards are due to difficulty in finding the block. Thus, miners will join larger mining pools to combine significant computing power. However, with more miners joining the network, the mining difficulty increases, centralizing the consensus power to a handful of few authorized people, like mining pool managers. KASPA's consensus layer, however, aids fast block rates and evenly distributes the mining income, decreasing the incentive to join mining pools while contributing to mining decentralization. So these three aspects kind of explain how KASPA is trying to solve the blockchain trilemma. And again, I think it will require more adoption and more use of the KASPA blockchain now and into the future to really test and stress test if KASPA is truly solving the blockchain trilemma. At least in theory, what they're saying allows us to believe that it is possible with what they're doing with their direct acyclic graph structure and proof of work consensus mechanism. In theory, it sounds like we've solved the blockchain trilemma, but again, we will probably want to stress test that and see what happens in future and if it can be truly scalable, secure, and decentralized all at once. The KASPA emission schedule is also very interesting because it does resemble Bitcoin in certain fashions, but it is structured slightly differently. So we know that with the Bitcoin blockchain, Bitcoin has a halving mechanism built into the protocol, meaning that every 4 years, the mining rewards for the miners gets cut in half. So we just went from mining rewards of 6.25 Bitcoin per block in the previous 4 years. However, we came through the most recent halving on Bitcoin just in April 2024, where the block reward per block got cut down to 3.125 Bitcoin per block. So again, this is due to the difficulty adjustment with the protocol, and also with the mining rewards getting cut in half, we have a supply shock event every 4 years on the Bitcoin blockchain, which contributes to increased demand, given the fact that there's not as many Bitcoin entering circulation every 4 years. So KASPA is structured slightly differently in that every month the reward for the miners gets cut by 5% month over month over month. What this means is that the emission schedule means that the last KASPA will be mined, I think, in the year 2039. So this is a much more accelerated timeline than we have for the emission schedule of Bitcoin, which is not due to be completed until the year 2140. So we're not going to have the final Bitcoin mined by miners until the year 2140. And every 4 years from now until then, we're going to be seeing that mining reward get cut in half. So KASPA employs a similar architecture but they are reducing the reward rate by 5% month over month. This means that we're going to have an accelerated time to final KASPA being mined, but the overall premise is the same. The supply and demand dynamics are changing month over month, and you see that reflected in the mining difficulty, but also with regards to supply and demand in the market month over month, year over year, until we get to the year 2039 when the final KASPA will be mined. So again, similar structure to Bitcoin, but implemented slightly differently. And again, a fixed total supply that will eventually all come into circulation by the year 2039. The next thing we're going to look at here is the Bitcoin, well, I'm saying Bitcoin power law, but it's actually the KASPA power law. But the interesting thing to note here, and if you're not familiar with the Bitcoin power law, is the fact that Bitcoin is and has been following a power law structure since its inception, and that is yet to break. That model basically implies that Bitcoin is continuing to grow at a very steady rate, and the power law basically represents this phenomenon in the natural world, where we see the power law structure with the growth of things like cities. There's also relationships to the power law in nature and how mammals grow versus, the size of mammals and the proportional size of their brain to their mass ratio. I'm not an expert in the power law, but you could do more deeper research into it yourself. But long story short, since its inception, Bitcoin has been following a power law similar to the growth of cities and similar to the growth of natural phenomena in the natural world. And KASPA is the only other token in existence to be following a power law similar to the way that Bitcoin is following a power law for its growth trajectory. So again, it's one way to basically give us a predefined bandwidth in which a asset will continue to grow. And you can see here how the price of KASPA has been fluctuating within these bands and these price ranges as it continues to grow. And a more zoomed out version of this can be seen here on the right hand side, where we have KASPA's power law mapped out from now to the year 2140, when it will be when we'll be seeing those last KASPA mined. And again, this is a log chart, so you're seeing the growth of the asset in a log format over time and through multiples of a power law increasing in by a factor of 10 through each line on the chart here. So again, feel free to do more research into the Bitcoin power law and the KASPA power law itself, but it's very interesting to note that KASPA is the only other cryptocurrency that has been found to be following a power law outside of Bitcoin. So again, credit to Plan K on YouTube. You can check out their channel. It's a channel dedicated explicitly to KASPA. You should check it out. He's got a lot of good content on KASPA. But it's very interesting to note how KASPA is following a power law, and if it continues to follow a power law, it's very easy for us to continue to map that price out over time as it continues to follow the power law. The other interesting thing to note about KASPA, and again, this is taken from the Plan K YouTube channel, you should definitely check it out, full credit to them, is that KASPA seems to follow this kind of 8-month harmonic cycle, where you have a run-up in price followed by a retracement, followed by a smaller run-up in price and a retracement before repeating that cycle again. So you see this larger run-up in price, retracement, smaller run-up in price, retracement, and then repeating the pattern with a large run-up in price, retracement, smaller run-up in price, retracement. And again, if this pattern continues to play out, you would expect us to now have this larger run-up in price as we saw with this peak and with this peak and with this peak, before retracing slightly again. So this 8-month harmonic is, another interesting pattern, and it's not something that has been very common with other cryptocurrencies. So will this pattern continue to play out? Obviously, it remains to be seen, but if history is anything to go by, and we do only have a limited history for KASPA, but it would indicate that we would see this larger run-up occur next before the retracement and into the smaller run-up again. So lots of behavior happening with KASPA here that is indicating that it is, it bears a number of similarities to Bitcoin, but also has its own kind of price discovery going on here with this 8-month harmonic and a lot of the stuff that's happening in terms of price action. And the final thing that we're going to mention here on the video is the introduction of KASPA smart contracts and the KRC20 tokens. So again, if you're familiar with Ethereum, you will know that Ethereum has ERC20 tokens, which basically contributed to the explosion of activity and growth that we saw on the Ethereum network back in 2016, 2017, when we had the whole ICO boom. That was really thanks to the ERC20 token introduction, where it allowed other projects to create assets on top of Ethereum as this kind of Ethereum virtual machine. And the introduction of those smart contracts, also birthed the entire decentralized finance ecosystem, with everything happening on DeFi with smart contracts, being able to have wallets interacting with decentralized exchanges, having different protocols for lending and borrowing, etc. So the introduction of the smart contract was this phenomenally popular and widely adopted technology, really thanks to Ethereum back in 2016, 2017. And again, we saw similar stuff with Solana back in the 2021 cycle, where we saw Solana introduce smart contracts at a fraction of the cost of Ethereum. And we saw a huge boom in terms of everything happening on chain with Solana, and NFTs became so much more widely accessible and much cheaper to mint and implement on blockchains like Solana when they introduced smart contracts as well. So the introduction of smart contracts on KASPA, I think, is another very bullish signal. The introduction of smart contracts only happened at the end of June 2024 on KASPA. There's a lot of hype around the potential of smart contracts and KRC20 tokens on KASPA. The execution and adoption of KRC20, it definitely remains to be seen, because we're recording this video at the very beginning of July 2024. So there's still going to be, a couple of months to play out before we see real adoption and real stuff happening with smart contracts on KASPA. But if we look back and think about how they impacted blockchains like Ethereum and like Solana, it bodes well for the potential of smart contracts here on KASPA as well. So lots of very exciting stuff going on with KASPA. I wanted to make this video just to lay out the essential information that I think was some of the most important stuff that I found on my research. And, I know we're still at the very early days of KASPA, with it only having been introduced in 2022. We haven't really seen KASPA go on a full bull market cycle. And depending on how much stuff can get implemented and adopted with regards to smart contracts and KRC20 tokens on KASPA over the next few months, it'll be very exciting to see where the price of KASPA can go in terms of price action over the course of the next 12 to 18 months as we move through the rest of this bull cycle. Okay, guys, very briefly, I want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is EchoPay. EchoPay and the team are making it super easy and extremely seamless for you to purchase all of your favorite EVM crypto coins and meme coins on the blockchain. All you need to do is head over to echopay.xyz. You can open up their application and sign in with a Google account or similar. They've built in this extremely simple to use interface with single sign-on. And as you can see, you can simply sign in with an existing Gmail or Google account and use their platform to select and purchase your favorite meme coins. For example, they've got Pepe, they've got Brett, they've got Boop, they've got a bunch of other meme coins to select from. And again, if you filter by DeFi, they've got some of the most popular DeFi tokens like Uniswap, Chainlink, Lido, Avo, the Graph token, and even Pendle, which has been one of the biggest performers this year so far as well. So give EchoPay a try, guys. I'm going to be talking with the founder of EchoPay on the channel as well. These guys are building something super cool, creating a very simple interface for you to interact and purchase your favorite cryptos. Head over to app.echopay.xyz. You can grab the link in the description below. I'm going to leave a link to make it super easy for you guys to jump over here, check it out, create an account, and purchase your first tokens. It is super easy, and I'm super excited to be partnering with these guys. A very genuine group of people, a great team behind the project, and you guys can check it out for yourselves. We have made a price prediction video on the channel for KASPA. You can check that out yourself. However, I do think after doing more research, I'm going to need to make an updated price prediction video for KASPA and think about how KASPA's price action might be impacted by the introduction of KRC smart contracts and all the other stuff going on within the KASPA ecosystem as well. So As always, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below. Hit that subscribe button as well. We're on the road to our first 10,000 subscribers. It would mean the world if you subscribed. Smash that bell notification icon if you want to get notified about similar videos. We've got plenty of price predictions, plenty of deep dives, and content coming every single day on the channel, so you're going to want to get notified. And don't forget to grab your free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. It's going to be linked in the description below. Grab it while it's free. It is my gift to you. And as always, we will catch you in the next one.